hired about 1.5 years ago, one of the goals was to create the top AAA organization in the country. Ty and I both came from USA Hockey. Rich told you a little bit about our backgrounds, both played at BC, played at Michigan, and we were traveling around. Ty and I spent, instead of the nights in the hotel, we spent it in cabins in Virmaki, Finland. So 100 nights in Virmaki. Obviously the top training place in Finland. We spent some time in Sweden, some Slovakia. I had the pleasure of coaching the 18U Ivan Holenka team. That took a silver over in the Czech Republic this year. So going around and seeing all these different players and seeing all these different models, you guys are seeing the best of what fits with Pittsburgh. And that was our goal, is to help create this, take in all the information we can. Ty's going to talk a little bit about the sports science side of that. Okay, but it's funny, when we put this together, and I was going over this PowerPoint, I said, you know what? We're just not shooting for the best organization in the country. We're shooting for the best organization in the world. I think we have the capabilities with Gary Roberts, with the Vonda, the sports facility over there, with Ty and Max and the hockey director that we're going to hire now, with some of the facilities that we have and the capabilities of this room in here where we do our dry land stuff, the rapid shot, the rapid hands, all of this stuff that our players have access to. I think we can do it. Obviously, we're always looking to improve, and that's where kind of this meeting came out. Hopefully we get some feedback, hopefully you guys understand where we're coming from, and we can create that. One of the goals of this is obviously, not every player in here is going to be a Division I hockey player. Not every player in here is going to be a Division III hockey player, or even be able to play club hockey at some point. So we want to make sure we're establishing core values. Some of the core values that the Pittsburgh Penguins and the things that we want to pass on to our coaches and our players: teamwork, respect, discipline, integrity. I would love nothing more if a kid can't play hockey by the time they graduate from the Penn's Elite at 18U. Doctors, lawyers, violinists, whatever that child wants to do, we want them to be able to take that with them. We know that hockey window closes very quickly. We hope to have adult league players in here at some point that still love the passion of the game of hockey. And that's what we want to create. We don't want to create this is work, and we don't like the game anymore because we push so hard with the Penn's Elite. There's a fine line, okay? And a lot of our stuff is based on the science that we were out and kind of looking at. So those are some of the core values. Now, we need you guys as well. With nationals coming up, obviously you guys will be, some of you in here, benefiting from us hosting nationals at the 18U and 16U levels. That is something that we're going to need help with. We have the USHL. Our staff is very limited, and we definitely need some parents. So I'm going to be, reaching out to you guys and say, hey, we need at the 16U level, at the 15U, we're going to need volunteers. We're going to try to put together a volunteer committee. So the girls' side will have one, and everybody will work together. We'll need to cover clocks. We'll need to do fundraising stuff. And it shouldn't be just about, hey, we're raising money for Quebec. Oh, we're raising money for the 16 team to get new pajamas that say Penn's Elite on them. Whatever that fundraising objective is, we want to do it as an organization. We want to create an organizational culture. Okay, and that's what we're trying to do. And we need everybody to kind of step up and chip in. The Chicago Mission, they pay anywhere between $8,000 to $10,000 to play for them. You have teams in LA, Craig Johnson, and I talk to all the time. They're paying anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 to play the same level that you guys are playing. The Pittsburgh Penguins offset a lot of these costs. Dick's, there's a lot of things in place, and you know what? They don't get the same training. Obviously, we have some coaches in here as well. We pay our coaches, but we don't pay them much. We could pay them more, but they do it because they want to help Pittsburgh hockey, and they also believe in access to the top programs. But we're doing our best to make sure they are compensated fairly for the job that they do for you guys. But that's obviously an obstacle in trying to keep down the costs. And these guys all step up and say, hey, I will do this to help these kids. I know that you guys are in this. We're trying to keep down the costs. The foundation has done a lot of things, like Rich talked about, to bring down the costs. So, that's from that side of things. But we definitely need your help. So when we say, hey, we got to sell some raffle tickets, I get about 15 to 20 emails saying, really? Do we have to sell these tickets this year? Well, if we don't want our costs to go up, we have to figure out ways. And obviously we're always looking for great ideas and people to help out, because we need definitely a better volunteer culture as we move forward. And hopefully we can establish that. So what are some of the coaching philosophies that we're trying to do, that we relay to our coaches, that you could expect just to hear from your players? Well, one is fun. Like I said, not everybody's going to be Division I, Division III hockey player. We want our kids to have fun. Okay, the next one is internal competition. Okay, extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation. This also means, hey, if we're racing for that puck, I'm getting it. Okay, I'm going to win that battle to the puck. That's one thing. If you talk to NHL coaches, there's, you'll hear Mike Babcock later talk about, hey, the game's not up and down. It's not the pretty play, with the open space. It's creating that atmosphere. And every kid has a little different, DNA makeup. Okay, but we're going to try to bring out that competitiveness. Okay, you need competitive players to play this game. Okay, you got to want to win that battle for that puck. Okay, but we also want an intrinsic motivation. We want that kid to be able to go out and say, hey, I want to go shoot today. I want to work on my skating. There's things that I want to work on. Okay, the same thing goes for getting better at math, at spelling, or whatever that is. Okay, but we want to make sure that these kids are ready to go. The other thing is finally a passion for the game. We want to make sure these guys are developing a passion for the game as they go on through, and we also are preparing them for the next level of hockey. That's our ultimate goal. We expect your players at 15U or 16U to be able to play 18U, or play junior hockey, or college hockey. All of those things are factored in to what we're doing in this program. Anybody sign up for the point streak yet? Everybody been out on the point streak? As we've gotten up to levels, this is going to be most important for your groups at 15, 16, and 18. Okay? The new program, the foundation was kind enough to kind of up their ante a little bit and allow us to be able to do this. Okay, but one of the great things about this is you guys have access to load video. So if you have a scout come talk to you and say, hey, I like number 16, you can say, the coach can say, that's so-and-so's son. Here's their point streak account. So you have your SAT scores, your PSATs, your grades. You can put all that on there. You can upload videos. Okay, the last group, those twos were talking about, we didn't have any video. That's part of our volunteer thing, within our teams. Are there 5 or 6 videos that, a parent has taken that we can load onto Point Streak so you all have access to? Now, you may not cut clips of his kid, or he may not cut clips of yours, but now you have access to the full thing, and you can go on and cut clips of your son. Okay? You're also going to get your sport testing data in there. You're going to get your dry land stuff in there. You're going to get coaches' comments. Okay? All of that will be in there so you can access, and you can send it to college coaches and junior coaches and other things like that. Okay? So what's your role in all this? You don't need a PowerPoint for this. If we can get it working, that's great. But what's your role in all this? The hardest part, I have a younger kid. I always have my coaching hat on. Last year, one of the things last year, my wife said this, and you're only allowed to talk to your son 3 times in the car. Obviously, the goal is to say no times, but I have trouble taking off my coaching hat. Once a coach, always a coach. And she's like, listen, you got to stop talking about hockey. So I said, okay, well, does a trip from Chicago to Pittsburgh, does that count as 1, or is that 3? Because it's so long. She said, no, that's 3, because that's a lot longer. If you're going from the rink to the house 10 minutes, that's 1. But my suggestion to you guys, and like I said, I'm just giving you that example because it's really, really hard. Especially when you get to this, everybody's like, looking for recruiting, looking for junior teams, this and that. Let your coaches. We've done our job in trying to hire the best coaches. Our coaches go through a very rigorous process. They have to deal with me and Ty all the time being like, hey, let's work on this, let's try this, let's do that. Okay? We harass them enough. So let them coach your child. Okay? The things I want you guys talking about, if we're going to be in this together, thanks, we're good, Roberto. The things that we're going to need to work on for you guys is, hey, how was your effort today? Did you work hard today? Not, hey, that shot was just a little bit off, or why didn't you pick that guy up in front of the net? Those are things conversations that let your coach do that. But you guys talk about effort, you talk about having fun, be parents, okay? We don't need people to be extra coaches. They're your son and daughter, your sons don't need that extra thing. So the other thing is, like I said, our coaches aren't, we try to keep the price down as much as possible, like I said, but let's go with the 24-hour rule. Okay, if there's a lot of heated conversations that take place sometimes between a player between a parent gets mad at the stand, something didn't happen, they weren't on the power play, they missed the last shift of the game because of X, Y, and Z. But I'd ask you to give yourself 24 hours to cool off before you contact the coach. We're also trying to tell our coaches is, I want them to coach on the bench, not from the bench. Okay? So what does that mean? Okay? On the bench means they coach when they're here. We don't want the puppets. Okay? Your coaches, in front of the net, get over there, move to the left, move to the right. We need to teach our kids to play the game. Okay? We don't need them. We can't control them like little hockey stick figures. Okay? Same thing as you as parents. Let's let them play the game. The coaches and parents don't play the game. Let the kids play the game. I always say our job as coaches is done in practice. That's when we do the most coaching. I'd go out with, coach here, coach there, this group. That's when we can make the most impact on our players as coaches. Okay, but when they get to the game, they should be prepared and ready to go. I really appreciate you guys. I know these mandatory meetings are never fun, but I hope you got something out of this. I hope it was beneficial. My door is always open. My email is Herr@PittsburghPenguins.com. Rich Hixon, R.Hixon at PittsburghPenguins.com. I hope you guys utilize, we brought in Ty and Max, and I'm going to be doing a little more on-ice stuff, but I hope you use the staff that we have at this facility if you're looking for an extra practice session, because they are the best in the world, these guys that we've brought in, and we're trying to make it as much as a community and kind of a feel in order to bring your kids and to help them get where they want to be. But if you have any questions about development, reach out to myself or Ty, and we'll be glad to assist you guys with programs and things like that that might, be long term, not just something that's, hey, we're here to 16-year-old kid, you're playing for the Pens Elite, no big deal anymore. You're out spring, summer. We want to help your player get to the next level, and obviously, move on to college if they want to play college hockey. So let's have a great year. And are there any questions? We got about 3-4 minutes here for some questions.